So for today, Thursday, we're going to look at Norman Rockwell. He was a painter. He was an American painter. He painted for many decades, like 1930s, 1940s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. His artwork evolved as American life evolved. So his paintings from the 1930s and 40s look very different than his paintings from the 60s and 70s, especially with the introduction to like civil rights movement and some of those things. But he was best known for like recording American life, and he did covers for a famous magazine that spanned all these decades. So I just want you to look at it, and I want you to think about, it's the year 2020. If Norman Rockwell were still alive and painting, what would his paintings look like today? Would they still reflect or have a similar style? Would they have something different to say? Or do you think that we basically, our core is still the same, even in 2020? Think about that as you look through his artwork. I put several examples in the slides. One is a very famous painting of a Thanksgiving or like Christmas dinner maybe scene, where like the grandparents are setting the giant turkey on the table and everybody's waiting to eat. That was from the probably 40s, 50s. There's one from the maybe late 30s of a lady getting ready to go out, and there's a little child watching her get ready, and there's always a little puppy dog, and it's kind of fancy. And then we go into his later work, where he becomes a little more, I want to say, political. But maybe it's not so much that he himself was political personally, but that the cultural environment of our society became more politically aware. We were, fighting for civil rights and equal rights for everybody. We were, as a people, we were waking up to some of the injustices that people had been dealing with, and really standing up and saying, no, this is enough. We need to change. So was that the case? Was he simply recording it? Or do you think he had personal political beliefs that drove his artwork? It's always a question that we ask about artists. Are they simply recording what's happening, or are they recording how they feel about what's happening? There's no wrong answer. We don't really know. I mean, we can guess based on various interviews and things like that he's given in the past, but we don't 100% know. And a lot of artists are that way. They like to kind of keep the mystery there. It adds a level of interest to the piece if you are guessing or you're wondering. So a lot of artists won't talk about that. Like they leave it up to the viewer to interpret as they will. And the last painting I put on there, the example that he had given was when schools were desegregated, and Ruby Bridges was the first girl, African-American girl, to go into a predominantly Caucasian school. And she had to have guards. And so that's what this painting is. And so it is a reflection of something that actually happened, photographs and film and things like that. They filmed it. So he's recording history, but is he also recording his point of view? That's what I want you to look at. So is it both? Is it one or the other? Is he only recording history? Is he only using his point of view, or is he doing both? So just think about those things. And then tomorrow there's going to be a quiz over everything that we've gone through this week with the landscape architect, medical illustrator, and Norman Rockwell, and what you think his work might look like today. Would it be vastly different, or would it be along the same lines? just some food for thought.